Welcome everybody to ND Podcast Live Coding Adventures 3, and we're here with Sahil.
What is
Alright, so today we have a lot of things. So we're gonna be splitting this up into C Sharp with me and say hi Sahil, JavaScript with
That's
Sahil.
good. That's good. 2 parts.
So he knows C Sharp too, so he'll be helping me out with this. And what we're gonna do is in the C Sharp, we're gonna be looking at WinForm applications. And if you don't know basis of C Sharp, then you shouldn't be here anyway. But so basically, we're gonna be doing So basically, we're gonna be doing saving a form state of a WinForm saying like what this is what many applications use for their registration form. For example, if you put in like your name, your home address, your phone number, whatever, and then you save it and you go back into that, it will just all be there without using a database. So they'll just always have all of their information saved in what's called an XML file, and we're going to be looking at that and seeing how we can save into that and load it back up from that, and then say hi Sahil. With Sahil, we're
That's
going
good.
to be he's going to be teaching us a JavaScript Pong game. And it's kind of like, Pong, like where you have the ball go this way, you have to hit it this way, hit it this way. And he's going to be doing that with HTML and
Think
JavaScript.
of 2D ping pong.
Yeah. So basically what's going to happen is we're going to do me first with our C Sharp saving the win form. And then we're going to head over to Sahil with the JavaScript.
So Nick, I want to be in the background doing whatever. So like, you need me just like
Yeah.
shout,
So
yay.
Sahil, you're not going to see him, but you might hear him. But he's just going to be doing whatever he's doing in the background. If I ever need him, that, and then we're going to switch over to him for JavaScript. So let me share the
Sounds
screen.
Gucci.
All right. So here we are in our development environment. It could be Sharp Develop like it is here, and it could be Visual Studio. If you do use that, that's a common one. But I just use Sharp Develop because it's quick and it's lightweight, especially when we're doing something like this. So what I'm going to do is now I'm going to show you how we're going to be able to save this state. If we're going to have some text in some text boxes, save that, and then load that back up later. So the first thing we're going to want to do before we get started is we're going to want to lay out our application. So we're just going to go to our toolbox, and we can put a couple things. Maybe put a label, a text box. I can find the text box. Text box. Just go here. Do you see text box right there? Maybe we'll just put name and date, just name and phone number, just for this sake, or name and email. Right, so we're gonna have our label one over here. Then we're gonna change our text to a name, and we're gonna go over here, and we're gonna change this text to maybe email. Here we are in my form. I do have my. I'm just gonna move that over. So here I am. I have my labels and text boxes. So I'm just gonna do the sloppy. Obviously, it's not gonna look neat or whatever. And then we're just gonna put a button for save. Now, what we're gonna want to do is we're gonna want to create a couple of different classes that are going to separate everything together. See, Hill, if you just want to mute your microphone because it's a lot of static in your background.
Sorry. Yeah. Sure. How do I? Yeah.
All right.
And if you need me, like I can see.
Yeah, you just be there. Yeah. All right. So now that we're over here, we're gonna go and load our form, and we're gonna go as you see I did over here. I right click this, press new
Subscribe.
file. Yeah. And if you also have Visual Studio be over here, you'll be able to do the same thing. So I'm just going to go to C Sharp, and I'm going to go to class. And we're going to be creating a new class. Now, classes are basically, you'll be able to put all your information into one class, and instead of typing it out on just one form, if you want to use it over multiple forms, you'll be able to reference that into another form.
Now
So in
explain
this
it.
case, we're going to be creating a class over here. I'm going to be calling it save XML. This is what's basically going to generate our XML serializer, which is going to save all the data and save it into a class that we'll be able to use in our form.
You
Now
want me to
this
explain the
takes me,
class?
I just explained the class.
No, you didn't do it well enough.
Okay, let's have the brilliant Sahil explain the
Yeah,
class.
okay. So basically what a class is, like, as Nick said, classes hold multiple variables and functions, in this case voids, or any types of functions within them. You can access classes by creating new instances of them. For example, let's say you have a class called human, right? And then you want, let's say you're making a game or some type of database or something based off a lot of humans. You can, what do you call it? You can create, you could say var human, or let's say, I don't know, human, because that human is the name of the class. Human equals new human, and then whatever parameters you need there to like actually create a human. So you can have you can have like variations with humans. You can not humans. You can have variations with classes. Classes are basically just like a container for a bunch of other like smaller bits of it.
Okay, so as Sahil's very complicated definition, as I
Small.
said, in layman's terms, basically you put whatever you're going to want to reference in multiple different forms. This class will just hold it all together and you'll be able to reference it or call it back in other forms and use those different types of functions or different types of data types that you want to use. So now in this case, we're going to be creating an XML file with an XML serializer that we're going to have inside of this class. So what we're also going to want to do is we're going to also want to reference other things. So we're going to go using system.xml.serializer, the serialization. This is going to allow us to create our serializer,
Serialization.
and also using system.io, which is we're basically able to mess things around with
Files.
with files. All right, so over here, we're going to create a new XML serializer. It's right here, and we're just going to name this SR for serializer and equals new XML serializer. So what this basically does, if you're um, known with C Sharp, it just creates a new instance of a serializer. Now inside of these parentheses, I actually just forgot to do this. We're going to want to create a new XML class, because this is going to allow us later, we're going to want to create a void, because this void will allow us to reference the serializer later. So we're going to want to do public static void static. All right, that's just because I'm going to have to do it like this. Do public static, really? Let me do this. Public. All right, we'll just call this void. Public void, save data. Oh, static in. And then we'll just put our brackets here. And we're also going to want to put parentheses here, because in parentheses we'll be able to have some objects and strings. So we're going to do new object, and we're just going to call it obj, and string file name be our string. Now, I'm going to go back in and create our XML serializer. And in here, we're just going to go reference our object, get type. But for some reason, not letting me, oh, that's why. Okay. You're going to want to erase those two parentheses over there. And now we're just going to come back over here and reference our obj.get type. Now we're going to want to do text writer, not reader, because this will write it to a file. Call this writer equals new stream writer, because this is going to take all that text and write it in. And we're just going to call this file name because it's going to write it to that file. Then we're going to reference our serializer. It's our serializer. Sahil, are you there? It's just being annoying. Did I forget something?
Yeah, what? Sorry.
Alright, look at this.
Oh my god, what was that?
Technical difficulties. Alright.
What am I gonna do? Sorry.
Oh, I see what I did. Never mind.
You already create.
Yeah, I know.
You already made the class XML.
I
So
know, I
why would
realized it.
you?
I realized it.
Yeah,
'Cause
Nick is
I was,
Nick is not the brightest
no,
programmer.
no, I was looking at something different.
Yeah.
But
Just keep
I was looking.
telling the people that.
Yeah, no, I have. Look, I'll show you.
Yeah, no, of
See,
course.
I have my beautiful references, and I was looking at it and it's set up different on here. So don't
Yeah,
yell at
Nick
me.
is the type of person to print his papers out instead of taking
Yes.
pictures of them.
Why? Why would you take pictures of them? That's a debate for another time.
Oh, why not?
Tahil wants to save paper because we need to keep our trees healthy.
I'm pro-life.
All right. So we have our XML class, and we created our void inside of it. And all right, so now we should have no problem. So now again, we're just going to reference our SR. We want to change that back to SR and change this to writer. See, everything works better when you do it the right way. So now we're just going to do xr.serialize, and that's going to serialize our text and the objects and save it into a XML file. And we're just going to close out the writer. So that's basically what we're going to have for our save XML. This is going to initialize all the text that we're going to have and save it into
Initially
one.
initialized. That's beautiful.
Same thing. And we're going to have it into one file to reference back later. So now with our save XML class, we're just going to want to create a new class by adding a new item. And this class we're going to call information. Now the information class is going to store, again, all the information. Now again, this you don't need to worry about because that is what Sharp Develop creates for us. Get rid of that. And again, we're also going to want to use system.xml.serialization and using system.io. Now, what we're going to want to do in our information class, we're not going to want this. So what we're going to do in our class is we are going to declare strings. Strings are just things that store anything from text to numbers to characters, everything. So what's going to happen is, as you see over here, we have two text boxes. We have text box 1 and text box 2. So we're going to create two data strings. We're going to have private string data 1 and private string data 2. Now basically what those semicolons means is you finish with that command, move on to the next line. Now, you may be wondering, why are we making these private? We won't be able to access them when we need to save it. Well, this private is just for this class, because then what we're going to be doing is we'll be getting the data from this private string and transferring it into, we're going to be getting that value, setting it into a new public data string. And you're going to see that now. So now what we're going to do is now we're going to create a public string, and this time we're going to call this data1, capital. And we're going to put these brackets around because we're going to want to put some things when it generates the string. So again, we're going to want to get that return data from data string 1 and then set that data 1 equal to the value. And you can't forget those semicolons. Now we have our
Yeah,
public
never
string
forget them
data 1.
semicolons are like one of the most important things in programming you need.
Yeah, just one semicolon missing. That's it. Your program's done.
It took me
And
30 minutes to fix a program without like two semicolons, so like beware.
yeah. All right. So we're gonna create another string with data2, and we're gonna be returning the data2 from here and setting it equal to the value. Now, once we're done with that, what we're going to want to do is we're going to want to go back to our form. And our form is going to have some text. So we're going to go back to our main form, and what we're going to do is we're going to be creating some different types of voids. So what we're going to want to do is when you're in your properties window, you see a little lightning bolt called events. You're going to want to click events. All right, and hold on, Seal. I will be right back.
Yeah, what? So do you want me
I'll
to
be right
talk?
back. So yeah, you can talk.
So we can screen share? Hello? Okay, so while Nick is gone, I guess I will take the liberty to share my screen and show you what I'm working on now. It's not gonna be what I'm working on later, but why not show you? Okay. So in the previous podcast, I talked about using this uh can't think, sorry, this library called matter.js, which you can get from the matter.js website. I'll go back to that one more time just to show you. Hold up.
All right, that's it. Thanks, Seal.
Come on, dude. I was trying to like show you something, but like,
All right,
okay.
so we're gonna have to do this quick because I'm gonna have to end up leaving to go somewhere. So there might not be enough time for Seal to do his thing, and if anything, he'll
Whoa,
just
what?
do it in another video.
Or,
Said I
or,
might have
or
to
how
go
about or
somewhere.
how about you can like make me the leader of this thing, and I'll continue it while
Yeah,
you're
I'll
gone.
see if I'll be able to do that. I don't know if I'll be able to do that. All
Yeah,
right, but we're not
figure
gonna
it
worry
out.
about that now.
Or
So we're
you
gonna want
or
to do is
no
we're
no
gonna want
cut
to go.
no cut your thing now, and I'll work on my thing now.
No,
My thing.
thank you. All right.
I'm making Pong, so I mean like guys,
Pong is
vote in
not
the
that
comment
important.
section down
All right.
below.
No. This is we're almost done. We only got like 5 minutes left. All right.
It's not
So
my fault.
private void. We're gonna want to create a new void, a loading void. So this is gonna say once this form opens, this is what we're gonna want to do. Now, what's gonna happen is you're just gonna double click that and it's gonna create the void for you. Now, what we're gonna want to do is we're gonna also up here using system.xml serialization and using system.io. Now, inside of our void, what we're going to want to do, we're going to create an if statement. And inside this if statement, we're going to say if this file exists, and our file name is going to be called, we're going to just call this registration.xml. If this file exists, we're going to want to get our XML serializer, call this one xs equals new XML serializer. And this time, we're going to want to do type of information. This is basically going to load our information. Now we're also going to create a file stream. Read. This is going to be what's going to read our file and load in the data. File stream. And we're going to want to call this, I'll put our file name. So registration.xaml, XML, not XAML. And then we want to do comma, file mode, open. It's going to open the file. File access. Just going to set it to, read access just so it can read it. We don't want it to write it. That's what we do when we save it. And file share read, which is going to allow us to load it in. Now, we're going to want to, again, reference our information class. And then we're going to want to get our text box. And
Does
we're
that make
going to What happened?
XAML.
XAML? Alright, so actually let me fix this. We're gonna do information info. We're just gonna call this information. And then we're gonna also have to link our serializer to it, saying deserialize, which is going to allow it to be read. That's why I'm gonna put read here. Alright, so now we want to take our text box 1, which is the name text box, dot text, and we're going to want to set this equal to the info dot data 1. And then we're going to do the same thing with text box 2 dot text and set that equal to info dot data 2. And then what we're going to want to do is, once it's done, so we don't run into any problems, is we're going to want to close the file. This is going to get everything closed, so when we want to save the file, because what it's going to do is, once it loads it, it's going to load information in and close the file. So we'll be able to save it again if we already have a file. So now we're going to double click our save to initialize our save event. And what it's going to do is it's going to try. This is just in case we ever run into any errors. It's instead of the program quitting, if you don't have this file, it's just going to just display a message box. It's not going to quit the whole application. So again, we're going to reference our information class so we can access the data. And this time, we're going to reverse what we did up here. Since we already declared this equal to this, we're going to reverse that. And I'm going to say info data 1, since now that we have the data, we're going to show the data in text box 1, text. And the same thing with info data 2. And this program can also be used for appointments, which is what I use it for. I had it as an appointment calendar, and I had like 22 text boxes that I had to do this with, so it's kind of long with that. And then what we're going to want to do is, after we have all of that, we're going to want to save our XML, save all that data, and we're going to want to save it into our info and as registration.xaml. And then we have to finish it off with a catch, and we're going to be just getting our exception, ex, and this is if we ever have any errors, and it will just display it as a message box. Alright, so quick rundown again. When the form loads, it's going to see if the file exists, and it's going to load it in. If the file doesn't exist, it's just going to let us run the program, and we will be able to, put in all of our information inside. So that's what our form load is. It's just going to put all the information in and close it, because if we already have information, we'll be able to write it again. Now, once we click save, what it's going to do is, over here, it said, okay, save the data, save whatever this text was, and now it's saying load whatever the data was into the text box, which is what this does. And then that's what it does. And then that's just in case you have any errors. So now if I debug this, oh Lord, what do we do? Before the text was that text is a property can't be used like a method. I'm sorry. You're not supposed to put those there. Not contain a definition for saved data. What do you mean you don't contain a definition for saved data? That should be what is right here. Saved data. Did we? Alright, let me try this. Save data right there. What's your problem? Okay, I guess it was just being weird. Alright. So I type in my name, type in my email, and I press save. Now if I exit out, run it again, boom, there's my information already. And I can change this, save it, run it again, and boom, changes saved right up again. So that's basically,
Nice. The forms,
yes.
beautiful.
So sorry with some of those technical difficulties, but that's just happens sometimes. So basically, that's how you would be able to save your form state if you ever, want to do something like my appointment calendar that I did. And, you want to save all your appointments without having to use a database, because databases can sometimes get complicated, especially if you just want to save form text. You don't need to create a whole new identification and do all that stuff because you just want to delete the record for the next day and then keep it the way it is in just one file. It's easier doing it like that. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch it over to Sahil, who's going to show us, hopefully in about like 15-20 minutes, how to create a basic Pong game. So,
Is my video on? Hello? Hello?
all right, hello Sahil.
Is my
You just
my video
yes,
on?
your video's on screen
Oh,
sharing. Teach us how to
was
Pong.
that sharing the whole time?
I don't know, but no, it was on
Okay.
me. So, so
Quick preview. I would just like to show everybody this cool thing I'm working on extremely quickly.
boo, nobody wants any sponsors.
No, I'm not sponsored. Like, nobody likes you. Okay. So this is I was telling you about guys about Matter.js last time, right? You watched last podcast to find a bit more about that, or I'll also recommend the Coding Train on YouTube. Very good channel. So I made this cool little application in Matter.js, in the brackets text editor I talked about last time. I got it after that. So basically, in this application, you can right click to create shapes of random size and random size, sides and random like like for example, it could be pentagon, quad, square, something like that, triangle. So yeah, I have a thing that what do you call it? You right click, you can spawn that shape, and you can also pick shapes up and like kind of like mess around with that. So yeah, just wanted to show you some cool stuff you can do with Matter.js. So I will go to Pong now. We shouldn't. I don't think it's gonna take more than 20 minutes. Is that fine, Nick? Shouldn't take more than 20 minutes.
Yeah, that should be good.
Okay, I'm gonna let me close everything just to kind of like clean everything. Oh, duh! Ignore that, please. Okay. I'm gonna have Spotify over that. Let's okay, let's open up brackets. Okay, cool. Oh, jeez. Let's. I haven't done this. I haven't really used brackets that much. Oh god, what did I just do?
See, we're all new at this stuff.
Okay. Okay. Can you tell me how to like make a new folder? You know what? Fine. I'll do this.
Did you just say how to
No, no,
make a new
no, 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 no,
folder?
no, no. I meant like a folder with all my stuff in it. Fine. I'll run you. I'll run you through it so you guys know how to do it. So what do you do first?
I don't know. You're supposed to be telling us.
Shh. Ah! Okay. For this, I'm not really gonna use Matter.js that much because we don't need like such a large physics library for such a small game. So I am gonna stick to P5. But this just to make every life easier. I'm gonna use this in P5. P5 just it takes a while to open, but it's gonna ready make everything for me. So meanwhile, while that's opening, I'm going to okay, there you go. I'm gonna just real quick open this up. just to copy this whole thing. Okay. That was just some HTML. I like the style settings. I applied for that in that HTML file. So here, so P5 opened up. I'm gonna save this. Let's call this. What should we call it, Nick? Pong?
Yeah, I guess Pong.
Yeah, because that's totally not what it actually is. Okay. Pong. Open up Pong. Open up index. I'm really narrating what I'm doing. I'm sorry. I'm
All
gonna
right, I'll
open
be
up,
right back for a couple minutes. So keep
yeah.
doing what you're doing.
So we don't need this. This is extra stuff you don't really need. Let's rename that to Pong because you're doing Pong, right? Okay. Keep that minimized. So I talked about this type of stuff before. Function setup, function draw last time. I hope that you kind of went on the Coding Train YouTube channel and kind of like found some stuff out about P5 because I don't really want to be explaining much. But let's just get right into this. Okay. Call it create. You can also go into the API on p5js.org.com. Forgot exactly what it was. Sorry. This is not sponsored, but I just really like it. 500, 500. Let's have it be like 500 by 500 pixels. I cannot type today. Something my eye. Hold up. Okay, let's have this. Make a new function. Call. I'm trying to speed this up because Nick said.
Just a quick question.
Yeah.
Did you have Slack opened up?
I closed it. Yeah.
Oh, did you get a notification like a couple minutes ago
About?
from Twitter?
No, I did not.
You'll see the Slack and you guys will see Slack in a couple episodes because it's how we manage everything. But just
Yeah,
wanted to know if
I
the
just
notification.
I wouldn't like to
No,
display.
I just wanted to know if the notification popped up like on your computer because then I would explain it quick. But just forget it. All right, go keep going.
Okay. Oh God, there's something in my eye. Nick, all I gotta do is take care of this. Can you like handle this for a minute? I'll be back in like 30 seconds.
Yeah. All right. So anyway, while he's going where he's going, I was gonna talk to you about Slack that you keep hearing me reference a couple times. Basically, what Slack is, it's kind of like a communication program, meaning that you'll be able to, it's basically like a big group chat. And what you'll be able to do is I'll show you soon in one of our next episodes with Dominic, a regular ND podcast. What you'll be able to do is on the side you'll have channels, and you'll be able to create new channels for different things. Let's say you're working on a project, like on my Slack, I have a separate channel just for the podcast. And then, maybe I'll have a separate channel for me and Sahil when we want to code things. I'll have a separate developer channel. And then I'll have my ND Tech channel, which is where me, Sahil, and Dominic can all talk about scheduling. And inside of each channel, we'll be able to upload files. And then we'll be able to just track those files. I'll have my different files and I'll be able to keep track of them. Like, okay, so here's all my, like one of them I put up was the YouTube partnership terms. And I'll be able to just go into ND Tech and find that document right there. And basically, you'll just be able to separate things. I'll be able to add code to it. If maybe in my developer channel, I add code to it, have Sahil look at it, edit it, whatever. What you're also able to do is integrate a lot of things, like I was telling Sahil before with the Twitter. What you're able to do is there's many different integrations or Slack apps that you're able to add to your channels and interact with them. One of them I have is MailClark. And what MailClark does, it's an email and Twitter client. So for example,
Yeah, keep going.
I can, get a basic email and give you guys those emails. And every time you email me, it pops up in my Slack channel. Or if
All right, stop talking
someone,
about Slack and let me get back to this.
one sec, let me just finish. So let's
All right.
say you retweet something of mine or like something of mine or comment on one of my Twitter posts on the ND Check, which is at NDTech225. If you want to go follow that, comment, we'll shout you out in the next podcast. What you'll be able to do is I'll be able to get that notification like, oh, hey, he commented on your photo, and I'll be able to comment right back. So basically, it's a whole big management thing that you're able to integrate everything into. All right, here you go, Sahil. Back to you.
All right, am I on?
Camera's on you. Yep, go.
Okay. So we're gonna create this new function called let's call it. What do you call Nick? What do you call those things in Pong? Like you have like both. You have the bricks, right? You have the brick on each side.
Paddles.
Paddle. The function paddle. If you like a lot of like tutorials that you watch, being like for basic stuff, it's gonna teach you Pong. So you might see a lot of like similar stuff happening. So paddle, it's gonna be, it's gonna be an object that it returns. So I'm gonna have properties. Okay, P5 has a built-in thing called create vector, which takes in two parameters x and y and returns an object with x and y parameters. So I'm just gonna use a built-in thing, so I don't have to create my own. Let's see, paddle. I'm gonna say it's gonna take in a position and scale. Scale would be like size. P5 does have a built-in scale thing. Oh, I showed you scale. P5 has a built-in scale variable, so I'm gonna call this size. Paddle size. It kind of makes more sense. So you're gonna say this dot. So when you pass it in, you're gonna pass in the position parameter right here, and it's gonna assign this dot position to be that position. And you're gonna see a lot of like coding conventions be similar for other things, object-oriented programming languages such as C#. This dot position equals position. This dot size equals size. Okay, and then I'm gonna have a function. So let's call this dot draw. It's gonna actually draw. There already is a draw function here, but I'm gonna have a local thing called paddle dot draw. So this dot draw equals function. What this is gonna do? It's gonna take in. And it's going to use these values to draw it. So we're gonna do this right here in the beginning. I'm gonna make the rect mode is basically like from where you draw the rectangle. For example, you draw a rectangle, like for example, you draw at the coordinate 0, 0, the origin point of the canvas, and you make it have a width of 100 pixels and a height of 100 pixels. It's gonna be drawn from the top left. But if you make the rectangle mode centered, it's going to be drawn from the center of it. So like the object is in like the center. So let's say if you didn't have the mode be centered for this circle right here, it would be drawn from here. But if you have it centered, then it would be drawn from the center point here. It's like easier to manage. I'll say this dot draw equal. It's mainly because it's easier to use, but it can also be less code at times, which is makes it run faster, which is more productivity. So this dot draw equals function. So I'm gonna do a rect. So how about we do a fill? Fill is gonna be the color. So I'm gonna actually let me set the background first. Every frame I'm gonna set the background. Oh, what just happened? Every frame I'm gonna set the background to be color. Let's say black, right? So it's gonna have zero, it's gonna have zero red, green, or blue values applied. So fill, I'm gonna have this be white, right? Nick should have it be white. The paddle colors.
Yeah. What basically you would do is you do the background black,
And
and then the
white.
paddle and the ball white.
And you can always change the stuff, make it more colorful. We're just trying to
Yeah, you
emphasize
can
that.
customize it, but we're just making it like the original version.
Yeah, we're trying to emphasize the simplicity behind it and the actual functionality behind it. So you could do whatever you want. So it's gonna be paddle, right? So we're gonna do a rectangle at this dot position. Since it takes in x and y parameters, so it's gonna this takes an x y position, width, and a height. With rectangle, this dot position dot x, this dot position dot y. Excuse me. This dot size dot x will be how many pixels in width, and this size dot y how many pixels in height. Draw that. Oh, see, I didn't do semicolon there. I did the colon never. See, like I said before, semicolons are always very important. Fill that. It's gonna draw a rectangle at that position. I'm also gonna have a function called this dot move. Okay, so it's gonna take. Say you want the paddle to be like. Actually, no, it's not gonna move by itself. What am I saying? That's for the ball. Um, yeah, when you control the paddle, you control with your mouse position, right?
Yeah, like where you move your mouse is where your paddle goes.
Okay, cool. And it's kind of like your mouse will always be at the center of the paddle, right? Like
What do you mean?
the X position. Like let's say this is the paddle. I don't know. Let's pick an object. Let's say this P5 sign was the paddle, right? And let's say I move this my mouse up here. It's like the center. It's gonna be like, how do I explain it?
Wherever your mouse is exactly where the paddle is. Like
So
whatever your mouse position is the position of the paddle.
oh, okay, I understand. Okay, cool. We're gonna have draw. Okay, background 0. Oh my god, this is all over the place. Usually I have time to formulate and think about my code. Okay. So V5 has a built-in. It has built-in value variables called mouse X and mouse Y, which are the X and Y positions of your mouse, right? So we're gonna have it do this. I'm gonna have an array called paddles. What that would require is the only reason I do setup is it's because it's more organized. It's the first thing that's called our paddles. It's gonna be, and I know I'm gonna create have it be an array. I know there's only gonna be two, not very far. I know it's only gonna be two paddles, but it's just gonna be easier to work with instead of having to say paddle one, paddle two. So should paddle two be a bot?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, if you want,
It's
because usually
yeah,
what it is, usually the game is like a two-player game, and you would like control it with
but this is like a mouse.
yeah, like you would have a mouse, so you would control it like the left, like the up arrow key is player one, or like
And then
W, like
WASD for left, and
yeah,
then up, down, left, right for right.
yeah,
But
but
for
it would
now,
make it more fun. It would make it more fun if you would control it with your mouse, which is like the updated version, and then you would have a bot. So yeah, do it like that.
yeah, and it's not that hard to create bot stuff. I can always show you that.
Yeah, it's just like a random number generator.
It's not random. It's based on the ball position. I'll explain that later. It's not that hard to do.
Yeah, whatever.
So I'm gonna say four. Oh shit! Oh, what am I doing? You're only gonna be controlling paddle one, right? So I'll just do this. For not, I'm making a for loop that's gonna iterate through every single paddle in the list. I is less than paddles dot length, which we know is two paddles. I plus plus. It's gonna be the index. It's gonna loop through everything in the paddles list. So I'm gonna say paddles I dot draw. Instead of doing too much now, I'm just gonna see if this works. I'm gonna add a bit, but let me just see if it works. We have to create a paddle, right? So I'm gonna have a function create paddles. I always like separate things in functions because it's easier to do. Even if you don't have to call that function separately, it's just easier for me to visualize. Function create. I will call it we create. What do you call it? Like a board, a game, create game, create world.
Create board game, whatever, same thing.
Create game. It's gonna be like the paddles and the ball.
Yeah, so that's
Okay.
just game. And if you want, you can also do a scoreboard. But
Okay, sure. Yeah, that would make sense. Not that hard to do. Paddles dot push. So what it's gonna do is so right now paddles is an empty array, right? It has no values in it, so it's gonna make the first value push basically adds a thing to to the end of the list. Since it's nothing, it's gonna be the first item there. So paddles dot push, and then we're gonna have it be gonna create a paddle. Oh, new paddle. Excuse me. That's why I had an issue with uh, something else. Oh, you using the keyword new when you're trying to like access a function with stuff in it. Okay, you're just gonna create a new paddle and it's gonna do create vector x and y, right? So let's have this be up in the position. X position is gonna be like okay. The x position is gonna it's gonna be drawn to the center, right? So the x position is gonna be like oh I understand. So x position is gonna be 0, right? Because I'll explain that on the actual graph 0, and let's just I don't know have it for example do this. It's gonna be directly at the middle of the screen. Its position and the size. Let's have it be like I don't know like 100 pixels and create another vector. 100 pixels in width and then I'll say like 100 pixels in height. How about I make this like better? I'm gonna have it be like 4:3 aspect ratio. So 1,750, because videos are like that type of aspect ratio. I just like it. 1,000, 100. I feel like I did this really wrong. Let's just test. I'll test out your code. So yep, that's not working. What did I do wrong? Gonna draw. This is being called right.
always never forget those semicolons.
I mean, it would no. If I didn't have semicolons, none of it would be drawn. Paddles that push, new paddle. Oh, create game is never called. I'm not smart. Yeah, right. Even if you try to organize your stuff like me, remember to always like actually call your functions. Here we go. It's drawn. Nick, can you get that like applause sound if you don't mind?
Sure, let me pull it up. Are you ready? Are you ready? Are you ready?
Just some values. No, I don't want there to be any stroke. Equal center, no stroke. My fill is always gonna be okay. Okay. Okay, cool. That works. So yeah, okay, you have this right here. Now instead of it, we're just gonna create it to be at the center. Create that and have copy this thing. So it's going to be on the other side, which means I'm gonna place it at the width, not at 0. 0 is like closest towards you. I'll explain the coordinate system in a second, like I said I would. Okay, so you have these two paddles, right? So this is going to be at 0x, right? It's going to be technically the whole rectangle. There's a little bit over here, but it's blocked off by the canvas. So I just kept it to be like this to make it easier for us. So this is 0, right? As you keep, I explained this last time too, but as you keep on increasing, your x position for your mouse increases, mouse x, or your x position in pixels increases. Same thing with y here. As you increase this way, increases 0. This is 750. This is 1000. These are the dimensions I set in the create canvas function. So 50 by 150. Okay, now we're gonna have it in the draw loop. Draw is called every frame, right? You can also set the frame rate. I should have probably done that. Frame rate. I'm gonna have it be right after create canvas. I like to have my things organized like that, in order of importance and like setup. Frame rate 40 frames a second. That's just a number I like to stick with. 40 is easy to use. And it's not too taxing because it's not gonna be like a heavy game on your laptop if you have like a not a very strong computer or even mobile device. I wouldn't recommend playing this on mobile though.
But basically, lightweight application.
Indeed. How about we do this? I'm gonna make a variable called player paddle just to make it easier to track. Paddles var player or just player, right? So we're gonna say player equals paddles dot push, and then var enemy. The only reason for the array is just to draw it and make it easier to draw everything. Enemy. Now this is gonna have its own AI. Enemy's gonna have AI. Players gonna be controlled, right? So I'm gonna say I want this to be called before you actually draw it, so it updates before you draw it. It's only gonna be 40 times. It's gonna be 40 times a second, so you probably won't notice it. But it's always, I don't know. Like I said, have it in order of importance. Player dot position dot y. We're gonna focus on the y position equals mouse y, and this should see mouse y is built in p5 variable. So no, what did I do wrong? Oh, okay. How about we do this? Console.log. Always good at logging your stuff. Player.position.y.
But now, how does console.log work when you have
Oh yeah.
when you have an HTML like document, not an actual console?
Google Chrome, you know, press Control Shift I. Oh, this is Edge. No, this is not. No, this is its own thing. So
Try Internet Explorer because usually programs have to use the Internet Explorer elements.
This has its own built-in thing. It takes a while to actually switch it, so I don't feel like doing that now. Okay, so perhaps Y of undefined. So it's saying that this is undefined. Player. How about console.log? Oh, okay. Okay. Cannot read. Oh, I see the issue. Sometimes it's really weird. P5 is sometimes it would it's like go. It won't even work. So I have to physically open it, which sucks. Open up index. So that's the HTML file. Let's use Edge. Okay. F12 developer tools. Okay, let's see this console right here. You know, every browser has different stuff it's gonna say. Cannot set property Y or no reference. Let's see what that issue is. I'm gonna close up index. We don't really need it now. It says it doesn't exist. Oh, I see the issue. Okay, player. We're essentially, this is a function, right? It's pushing. This is like, it's not the actual thing itself. It's like a push it. Explain this. This is just adding it to the list. So player is a different thing itself.
You know, you also commented out player Y.
Yeah, that was just to test out what the issue was. Okay. Player. I'm gonna say how does that push player? Push player. It's gonna push the player.
You don't have paddles. You just said paddle. There's not an S at the end.
Paddles exist.
Oh, I didn't see that.
There we go.
Oh,
See,
look at that. Woo!
So do you want me to add like some delay to it?
No, that's fine.
Okay, I guess it's kind of like.
All right, how much longer
Flashy.
do you
I'm
think
like this.
be able to take? How much longer?
10 minutes probably.
Binge code. Go, 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 go.
We're gonna.
If anything, you can just watch him and he'll explain at the end. How about you just do that?
Hey, how about that? Yeah. Okay, and I might mumble stuff to myself. What are you doing? Oh, is it the clock?
Yes, it's the clock saying hurry up.
Right. When I binge code, this is like I get die hard.
Master mode.
You're gonna watch me type really fast. You don't understand. I'm just adding it to the list. Enemy.
We have to like binge code, man. Binge.
What is this?
I can explain some stuff. So basically, explain that. So now what he's gonna do is he's gonna create the ball, and the ball is basically going just to bounce around the screen. So it's just gonna bounce from one edge to the other. It's gonna basically start with the paddle, and it's gonna bounce off the paddle, and it's gonna bounce to the other paddle. And like he said, based with the ball position is where the second paddle is gonna move because the second paddle needs to always hit it. Sometimes you can have it, randomly get off its track, but you're always going to want to have the second paddle hit it because otherwise it's not going to, otherwise the game's just going to end. So you're probably going to always want to have the ball, like wherever the ball's moving upwards is where you're going to want to have the paddle move upwards. So then the paddle will be able to hit the ball and then you would have to control it to the other place. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, you're saying.
So that's basically what's going to happen now. And now he's going to have the ball position start, kind of have it go where the paddle is and then have it start with the computer. He can either have it start with the second player panel, the computer, or have it then start with the user panel.
Instead of paddle, I'm renaming this to entities, just to make it easier to draw everything. Do you see where else it says paddles? Okay, right there. Entities. Okay. It's also gonna have its own draw function. So it's gonna be a different draw function, but it's still gonna have its own draw function. So I'm gonna say this for the ball. Let's just draw everything like I said before. Draw that ball right there. Cool, nice.
Alright, so you have 9 minutes till 8:50. See, what we were going to originally do what we were originally going to do for this episode was we were going to have coding wars where he would do Pong in JavaScript and I would do Pong in C#, but me having to switch back from me to C# for him to JavaScript, I don't have like a key command that I'm able to switch back and forth.
It's just because Nick doesn't know how to do anything.
And also to like the WinForm version of it, I'm not that great yet with SAML and WPF presentation forms. I'm just basic WinForms. It's kind of hard because you're gonna have to like literally create everything from scratch. with creating a whole canvas like Sahil's kind of doing now, but it's a lot more complicated when you're using WinForms as opposed to using presentation forms with XAML, because HTML is like the JavaScript designer and XAML is C Sharp's and C++ designer, and or you would have to use Unity, and for Unity I need Visual Studio Community. I only have Visual Studio Express, and it would take like total of 3 hours to install Unity and Visual Studio Community on this computer. So see, now the ball's moving. So what you're gonna want to do is have that second paddle now move exactly where that ball is going.
Make ready if you go. Or if you prefer not to say that, that is also fine.
8:50. You got 7 minutes.
Oh,
Here
where
we
do you
go.
have to go? No, I said where do you have to go?
Yeah, I have to go somewhere.
Okay.
Alright, so now you're gonna have that second paddle go.
Okay, that's good. I'm gonna bump up the frame rate to 60. And then have the ball speed be 3. Okay, that's a good speed, right?
If you want to do it like a nudge slower, you have like 50 frame rate.
Or slower. Okay.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, cool. So it's gonna be called the end.
And even you don't need to have it like the game over function. You can just have the second paddle move to it and have the ball bounce, because that's what we're gonna have time for. So just get that second paddle to move
I
where the ball
got
is.
you.
We got this. Let's go.
Oh, so what's the ball? Oh my god, you like hurting me.
6 minutes left. 6 minutes left. Let's go.
Equal to. Whew, okay. We're gonna check what's greater than equal. I'm just gonna hardcore values. Don't do this by yourself. Don't try this at home, kids. No, but like, don't hardcode values. But just to save time, I'm gonna do this. Or it's an or statement. Or ball dot position dot x is less than or equal to 25. This is basically half the ball size. So it's drawn at the center. So it's gonna check its radius to see if it's hitting any of the boundaries or anything like that. Okay. And it's going to ball dot position dot x equals. Oh, I spelled that wrong. Equal. Can you like push back your time like a few minutes?
Not really. I could probably do like a minute or two, but
Yes, that would be beautiful. 7:25. 25 and then ball up this map. Are you a genius at work? Okay.
I have to see if there's a way that I
Oh
should be.
Lord, what did you do? Oh, not that. Ball speed. Oh, ball speed. I'm gonna have two variables. Ball speed X and ball speed Y. This is very unorganized. I recommend doing it a little more oriented, but that's just a theory. Again, theory. Not sponsored. Ball speed X equals negative. Make no, like, we could have spent more time on this if you didn't have to waste time with
Yeah, I know. I'm sorry, but
with your stupid little like.
if anything, you just work on this, and then in the next episode we'll just show this.
Or I could have just finished it up in the beginning of the next episode. If I don't finish
Yeah,
it
but I
now,
can't. I can't. Yeah. Or you can just save it, and we'll continue it next time.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. I can't save this. I'm kidding. What just happened?
So Sahil basically just bought. Oh, it's saying
Oh,
ball speed is not defined.
I didn't even see that. Okay, see now, but the paddle's not gonna interact with it. So I'm gonna check. I'm gonna make a real quick function. I'm not gonna finish this, but why not just do it as much as I can. Function So I'm gonna have this ball be like. No, never mind. I'm not even explain it. Function colliding. This is gonna check, touch bounce or whatever, right? Move ball, blah. So it's gonna check instead of this. How about this? Function gonna call colliding. Let me add in parameters. Stop bullying me.
3 minutes.
Uh, uh,
Think, Sahil, think.
Okay, so I already used it. Oh Lord, stop that! I need to charge you. You're bullying me. Okay, I was gonna take it. Paddle is paddle defined. Is paddle thing? No, paddle is not a thing. Cool. So it's gonna pass a paddle. So
2 minutes. 2 minutes.
Push it back like 5 minutes, dude.
Let's see how Sahil goes under pressure.
Great under pressure. Oh, I don't have a paddle thing. Alright, I'll just don't do what I'm doing. I listen. Paddles. How is
You don't have paddles. It's called entities.
Oh my god! How about 2? Because we know it's 2. No. I listen 1. Yeah, 0. 1. Yeah.
1 minute.
Oh, I don't need you.
1 minute. Alrighty, so it looks like that Sahil's not going to finish this, but he's not
I
going
will
to change
finish
it.
this. You don't understand this. You don't
He's
understand.
going to save this. And you know what? I might be able to buy you some time. I'll be right back.
Thank you. Okay, Nick's gonna go buy us some time. Well, he always wastes time. You know Nick. He's not a good person. Nick is not a very good person. Let's see. Oh, I don't know why am I so itchy now. Okay, let's see. I'm trying to think here. Hold up, give me a second. Oh yeah, let's do 3. Okay, the length would be 3. So I'm gonna say 2 I plus. Okay, we're gonna say yeah. Okay. Oh, we're gonna do colliding. Colliding. And I know boundaries aren't paddles, but it's called boundary because it can bounce off the boundary or the paddle. Boundary. So it's gonna check if it's colliding. Oh, feng shui. So it's gonna check if it's colliding with. Oh, now you check if it's colliding with everything. Right? Yeah. Super. Stop, Nick.
Okay, so I'm sorry to say this, but
No, I don't need
all
you.
the time we have
Why?
for today. So,
Let
if
me
anything, Sahil will just save it just now, and we'll continue it. If not,
Nobody
he'll
likes you.
finish it now.
No.
Nah, we're gonna
The
have to.
viewers
I'm
must
very
watch.
sorry.
No, stop.
Next time. So,
Stop.
I'm sorry I have to do this,
No,
Sahil.
stop.
So we'll see you next time.
No, let me finish this thing because this is actually funny. Stop.